The initial hearing in a juvenile case, it's called the detention hearing. It's the first time you'll see your child in court and the first time your judge will have an opportunity to speak with you, your attorney, and your child. So the judge in the hearing is going to do two things. The first is they're going to make a probable cause finding based on testimony from the probation office, police reports, videos, pictures, to make that determination as to whether or not there's reason to believe your child committed a crime. If they do make that finding, then it'll be on to the second part of the hearing, which is the big part, the release or detain determination. In that decision-making process, the judge is going to look to the Texas Family Code, which lays out a criteria in which child should be released and when they should be detained. Couple things to keep in mind. The first is that juvenile detention hearings happen very quickly, usually within 48 hours of the arrest. So you're going to get the terrible phone call that your child's been arrested, and then very shortly after, you're going to get a second phone call letting you know that they have court coming up. The second thing to keep in mind is that you do have the right to have your attorney present and arguing for your child's release at this hearing. The third thing to keep in mind is that if your child is detained, they'll be detained in a local detention center, which is a lot like a jail, with the exception that no adults are there. If your child is detained, they'll be detained for up to 10 working days before they'll be eligible for a subsequent detention hearing and another shot at convincing the judge to release your child. So the takeaway here is pretty simple. If your child is arrested or even being investigated for a juvenile crime, you're going to want to get a defense attorney involved as quickly as possible. That way your attorney can start preparing for the detention hearing, their defense, and to argue for their release at that detention hearing.